This week, the Cincinnati Reds announced there will be no Redsfest for 2024. Is that the best idea? Let's talk about it tonight and more on Late Night Reds. Hello, everybody.
What up?
My name is Tim Daniel. His name is Ben Brown, and welcome to this week's edition of Late Night Reds, part of the Riverfront Podcast Network, brought to you by the wonderful folks over at Blue Wire, your one-stop shop for all things Cincinnati Reds each and every week. Hopefully, earlier this week, you caught my man, 100 Grand Ben Brown, with Seth Shaner, giving a little Terry Francona conversation in. That was fantastic. It was a great show. Your guest, Jeff, had a lot of great insight. So I really, really enjoyed listening to that. You and Seth did a really good job there. I know Nate really appreciated while he's been on his time off that he so well deserves. I'm not going to lie to you guys. He's suspended for being bald, but I just show these little digs because I know I'm going to get a text message when he hears the show the next day.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, we're going to be having a lot of fun here as we are getting closer and closer to off-season stuff that matters. But Ben, what up, Sydney? Sydney in the house. We figured tonight, look, not a lot going on. Not a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
WNBA finals are at halftime as we're recording. There's Sunday Night Football. Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers are back together. Game 6 of the NLCS is going on. We don't got to be here all night. We don't got to.
Yeah.
So
it's a pretty packed night for sports.
Yeah, we're gonna keep this short and sweet tonight. But if you're in the chat, we still want to hear from you, especially our hot button topic, which, if you saw the title of the show, is going to be our biggest conversation at the end. But let's kind of get into the world of baseball for a minute, and let's start with the fact that former Cincinnati Red Aaron Boone is now managing the American League champion team. Well, he's always been managing the Yankees, but Aaron Boone's going to the World Series.
Yes, he is.
You know what I really, really love about this? And this isn't a sense of this isn't like a yay Yankees conversation. That's not my intent. But the fact that Yankees fans hate Aaron Boone and now he's taking him to the World Series is hilarious to me. The fact that they're like, we want this guy fired. He did this dumb thing. Like, the manager we wanted fired actually got fired because he was bad at his job.
Right.
And Aaron Boone, I don't think he's great, but I do think that he's better than given credit for, and who knows how much that really matters. He's managing Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, and Giancarlo Stanton.
Right. I mean, come on, man. Like, you know what I mean? And it's funny because I don't want to take credit from anybody, because I do think that managers and managing egos, managing players is important. But dude, that team's loaded.
They are loaded, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like when Phil Jackson's like, "Hey, man, I'm a great coach." You're like, like, you are a great coach. You are, you're the master manipulator, blah blah blah. But you did have Michael Jordan.
Steve Kerr. You're just like, all right, buddy. I mean, you had Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. If you didn't win titles, we'd have been concerned.
Yeah. You would have earned getting fired if you didn't win.
Right. So. He got a gold. Hey, he was a gold medal head coach this summer. So
yeah, absolutely.
The first time he saw competition. But some former Reds ties and for the Yankees, obviously Aaron Boone, like I mentioned. Luke Weaver is just. I know you guys talked about this already, but it's just all of a
Yeah,
sudden the best closer in
dominant.
baseball. Apparently, just
Hmm.
dominant. When the Reds were like, "Look, man, just give us 5 innings. You may give up
Hmm.
7, but we're gonna put the runs up." And now it's like, "Hey, man, go in there and pitch 2 huge innings for us. Wear your
Yeah,
sick Jordan 1 low cleats and get people out, and it's gonna
yeah,
matter." Um,
yeah.
the thing that's funny is people remember how bad he was with the Reds, and he was. So I'm not gonna go, but no one talks about that little stretch in between the Reds and the Yankees where he pitches for Seattle. He comes
Yeah.
back to Cincinnati last year and pitches in the September series against the Reds and has like an okay outing
Yeah.
against the Reds. And you're like, this is really going to happen, isn't it? He's going to be
Yep.
really good.
Yep.
And of course he
Yep.
is. But I I don't necessarily have a preference who they play in the series.
Mm-mm.
So if we're right now at the moment that we are recording, Game 6 of the NLCS is going on. It's in the top of the
Yep.
third, and the Dodgers are up 2-1 on the Mets because
Hmm.
Tommy Edman, who, by the way, dumb Tim moment, had no idea he was playing for the Dodgers. Don't remember that happening. Um, is
Uh,
currently. What up, Carrie? How are you? We were worried we didn't
I
see
was
you when
going
we
to
got
say,
started.
Carrie, we were super worried that we did not have a comment from you to start the
Yeah,
show.
I love like reading her comments beforehand. I just feel bad that when
Yes.
it starts, they don't show up. Um, And so now we're at this situation where uh, you're going to see either the Subway Series or the World Series matchup we've seen the most of all time in Major League history, although it has not happened in quite some time. Uh,
Hmm.
do you particularly have a preference of who you would want to see face the Yankees in the series, or are you going to watch it at this point?
Um, I'm not gonna lie to you. Baseball without the Red, and I'm not trying to
I'm the
sound like
same
a
way.
homer,
I'm the same way.
but baseball without the Reds being involved, I really not a fan. Like I do like Aaron Judge, I do like Juan
Sure.
Soto, I do love Mookie Betts. Shohei Ohtani is a dog, and I get that. I would be looking forward more to that matchup of those just huge mega stars in
Yeah.
a World Series. But will I sit down and watch a 9 inning World Series games with guys I really don't root for? Probably not.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's not that I don't love baseball because I do. It's just that I've talked about this in the past. I talked about this when I did Seth's show for the Red Lake Roundtable where he's been interviewing all of us hosts. I just have a hard time. Like I went to a Guardians Royals game last summer
Hmm.
and Shane Bieber was awesome. It was a 2 hour game because Shane Bieber was so dominant. Kind of one of those
Mm.
things. I didn't care. I really didn't
Yeah.
care. I just had a
Mhm.
hard time because the Reds weren't in the game I was attending.
Mhm.
Um, that night, I was looking on my phone to see what the Reds were doing more than I was
Right.
paying attention to the game I was in attendance for.
Yep.
And I'm that way in the NFL. I'm that way in college football. Like Saturday, when Notre Dame's done playing, turn the TV off. Don't care the rest
Yeah.
of the day. When the Bengals are done playing at 1 o'clock on Sundays, turn the TV off. Don't watch football the rest of the day. Um, Basketball, obviously, we know. Those who don't, we know that's a whole different story. But
Right. Right. Right.
yeah, I don't really have this feeling of like excitement for it. I will
Mm-mm.
say this though, and you and I have talked about this a lot. I know you and I think pretty evenly on this
Mhm.
conversation. We definitely understand why people hate the Yankees, and I
Mhm.
do. I certainly do. But your issue with the Yankees is everything you want the Reds to do.
Mhm. Yep. And the Dodgers are the same way. I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. You know, everybody hates on these teams that go out and spend money and do all the things that Sydney. All the things that we wish the Reds would do. Go out and get a star. Go out and fill needs. Spend some money. You know, all the reasons why we hate those big market teams and why we hate the Dodgers and the Yankees. We want the Reds to be. So, yeah, I definitely understand that.
Yeah. So I say this all the time in the sense that, you know, obviously my loyalties have changed in the last few years, but I grew up a diehard Chicago Bulls fan.
Hmm.
And I cannot sit here and say I hate a team because they won all the time.
Yeah.
That's really
Yep.
that would be really, people hate Alabama football. Guess what?
Yeah.
They win
Absolutely.
every
They win.
week, except for
Yep.
apparently at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they've had a little change at the top that's
What up,
made things a
Jesse?
little
How
bit
are
more
you?
difficult. But yeah, they
Jesse's got the
still have
right
the
thought process.
yeah. Oh, I like that too, for
Yeah,
sure.
I like it. What up, Seth in the house? But yeah, I just want to kind of touch on that real quick. I don't hate the Yankees. I don't really have any issues with them whatsoever.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, I don't want them to win championships, but if they do, I don't like throw things and get pissed off. I remember the Subway Series very well and how cool it
hmm
was. Um,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah,
so
because it was like coming close to like 9/11 and all that stuff too. So like it was really like kind of monumental.
cool kid baseball story here. Before we move to the next topic, 2001 World Series when they lost to Arizona in Game 7, the Luis Gonzalez
hmm
walk off hit.
hmm
I was listening to that game on my radio in my bedroom. I was probably 12, and my mom got me this really cool stereo. Yeah, Mr. One, literally talking about that World Series right now
hmm
as we speak. And so when Luis Gonzalez has to hit up the middle, it was the only time I really wanted Arizona to win that series because
hmm
I love Randy Johnson. Um,
Yes. Yep. Yep.
and so when
Yeah.
they hit up the middle and they score the run, it was so cool to hear the radio call. It was something that I'll never forget, man. It was such a neat thing to like, even if though it wasn't my team, it contradicts our whole conversation we just had.
No, no,
Uh,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. But
it
that's
was it was neat.
that's one of the things that was really cool. Even when like the '90s World Series, I can remember turning down the TV and listening to the radio
Yeah,
and listening to the calls and how they were calling the games and Marty and Joe and like it just takes you back to where like they have to be so distinctive about the game of baseball when you're calling on the radio that it definitely makes you enjoy it a little bit more that way.
yeah. So Jesse did say, and for those who mentioned when we talked about it earlier, he said Reds versus Yankees 2025 World Series. He's calling it, and did mention the Reds did sweep the Yankees at Yankee Stadium this summer. It happened.
Yeah,
4th of July.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yes, it
Carrie
was.
says I always listen to WLW over the game. I was that way, and I still really love Tommy Thrall. I talk about this all the time, but those who know that John Sadak is my guy. He's my
Yeah,
friend,
yeah.
and so I got to make sure I give him his props. Um, it's his favorite. So, one touch real quick also before we move on. I mean, as we move on to our next topic. So, Arizona Fall League is in effect. The Reds are part of the Desert Dogs over there, the Glendale Desert Dogs. And we got some good and some bad so far. They're only 11 games
Mhm.
in. They're tied for first. So here's what we have on the hitting side. Edward Arroyo, first off, this is just nice to see him playing baseball.
Yeah.
668 OPS, 2 runs batted in so far. But here's where it gets fun. Tyler Callahan is in the top 5 in OPS right now in the Arizona Fall League. He doesn't hit homers. He's not like a power bat, but 5 walks and 4 stolen bases. Sounds like a good leadoff guy.
Yes, it does.
CES playing baseball again. Again, that's just a win. Does not have enough at bats to qualify for league leaders, but a 1.2 OPS, 4 walks, 7 ribeye steaks so far.
hmm
Take that. And then Matt McClain just came back yesterday. He missed a couple games. He did 3 strikeouts, but got to play with his brother Sean because his brother Sean's part of the Dodgers.
Okay.
So this Dodgers Glendale they take, I think it's like 5 or 6 teams they take people from, and they keep all those guys together on the same team. And
Gotcha.
so that was pretty cool. Look at Chad. Chad's coming in. Matt McClain,
Oh,
2025 MVP.
coming in hot. Okay, Chad.
Chad, I need you for this topic that we're doing. So please, if you are of the moment and you are around a microphone, please come join us before we move to our next topic. I feel like you, of all people, are the perfect person for this topic. But while I'm waiting to see if Chad's going to turn on the microphone, I will talk slowly about the pitching on the Arizona Fall League. And Ben, one name I want to point out is a name that those of us who aren't obsessed with the minor league system probably didn't know a lot about. But there's this gentleman here by the name of Luis May.
hmm
And he's kind of been used as Glendale's quote unquote closer guy. He has been lights out.
Yeah.
He has been really, really good. So 3 and 2/3 so far, 3 saves, 4 strikeouts, no walks.
Wow.
At least if I remember if that correctly. And then Carson Rudd has pitched 4 2/3 and has 6 strikeouts. Connor Phillips and Archie Franson, obviously not very good so far. And Jose Acuna is a guy who hasn't given up any runs, but does have a couple walks to his name, a walk in inning right now. So mixed reviews, but that's to be expected for in a fall league. And like I said,
Absolutely.
for most of these guys, it's just awesome that they're playing. That makes me happier more than anything.
Yo, absolutely. It's good to see CES up and swinging a bat again. Matt McClain, of course, he didn't play some games, but is back up and playing. It's good to see that. I mean, it's a good sign that they are working towards being everyday players again. So the Arizona Fall League is really fun, just because, like you said, they gather different talent from different teams and kind of put them together and let them play a little bit of baseball and kind of extend that season a little bit. So especially for guys that were on the injured list, ending the season, it's nice to see them back playing baseball and actually having some pretty good results.
Yeah. So Kerry asked, would Matty still be eligible for 2025 Rookie of the Year? Unfortunately not. He did exhaust his rookie eligibility in 23 when he came up and was probably the best player on the team in that stretch. Yeah, man. And you know what's super underrated about the Arizona Fall League?
What's that?
And actually, this is going to bring to another conversation I want to get to that we haven't talked about, that some news came out because we were off last weekend. So they let the guys wear their actual major league jerseys, and that's such a win. And I love that so much because obviously this leads to the rule that the news that just came out recently while we were off, our week off. You were celebrating your birthday that week. So
absolutely.
I'm sorry that Ohio State did not beat Oregon, but other than that, I still hope you had a great birthday.
It was great. It was great.
Yeah. And I still think Ohio State is a top 3 team in the country. I think Oregon just might be too. I think Oregon just might be too.
Oregon's pretty good.
Yeah.
They are pretty good.
But I don't know. Things might be different now that Texas lost. That's another show. That's another show.
Yeah.
They announced that in the All-Star game, we are bringing back the players wearing their actual jerseys instead of the god-awful ones that they had. We'll go 5S. McLean's playing, I think he's playing second, actually. So there was some conversations about him potentially playing center field in Fall League. It sounds like that got shut down. Thank God. Because the guy who just had a shoulder injury that kept him out of playing a full season, I don't want playing center field.
No, absolutely not.
But so Nike made the smart decision that we're going to go back to the players keeping tradition alive.
Yeah.
City, yes. Yeah, this is the Bengals Hawks sweatshirt. Great minds. Great minds. And so this to me, there's like, he's here. The man has come around. He's here. Look at this. Surprise, surprise.
Let's go.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I just have to say, before we get into this, I have missed you so much. And I know you're really busy, and I know you're doing your thing out in the beautiful state of Virginia, but it is so nice to see you.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love stopping in when I can. And yes, it's been a busy time, but miss you guys, but I listen every week, and let's go. It's we're ready for 2025.
We are.
Absolutely.
So I did want to bring you on for the big topic of the show, but curious your thoughts, Fall League so far, seeing guys playing, I think is kind of the biggest win of it all. But anything jumping out to you that you've seen from the Reds players so far that you've seen stat wise? I'm sure you haven't had time to sit down and look at some games, but
yeah, but what about Connor Phillips?
Yeah, that's rough.
Throw this back up there.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, what happened?
Yeah, because he didn't have a good year.
He did not.
No.
And this was a guy, 18 months ago that had high hopes for. And he's still a kid, but what's the deal?
I don't know, man, because he had that situation in Louisville this year where they sent him to the complex league, where not even to AA, not to single A, to the complex league.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. To kind of work on some stuff. And then, he's not, I mean, he's striking guys out, but So to put in context, and that's 6 in the third innings, he's given up 8 runs.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to do this, but yeah, sorry, Sydney. I'm wearing my Yankees cap. I needed a team that's in the World Series or that actually made the playoffs. But this is why I'm not what they call a prospect hugger.
Yeah.
Because Connor Phillips looked like maybe not a sure thing, but he looked like a pretty good bet to be a decent big leaguer. And you just don't know what's going to happen with the kids. So give me the guys that have shown they're going to perform. I don't know. That's it's sad. It bums me out because that was a guy that could really. I mean, the Reds have a pretty interesting looking rotation next year. But I was hoping Connor Phillips would be in that mix, and it's even better. So the more depth, the better. So anyway, that's my thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, Mr. Juan, he had a really good start, 4 innings, no run, 7K, then an awful start of 2 1/3, 8 runs. And I feel like that's kind of the Connor Phillips story that we've been having these last couple of years. Okay, we go with the. What I've learned from these baseball playoffs, people, is that I'm probably done betting for a little while. So I bet those who know, I bet on the Guardians to win the World Series because I just really love their pitching. I was like, Manuel Clase, 9th inning, no way they're losing.
Yeah,
they did. I bet on the Liberty to win the WNBA Finals. That's not looking. Actually, it's looking better in the third quarter. But so I think I probably just need to go ahead and call it quits for a little bit. I almost bet Joe Burrow over 200 passing yards today. Held off. So, but I'll take the win.
Hey, that's good. Good move.
Yeah.
Good move.
Yeah.
See?
Grace will appreciate it. So. All right. So, like we said, we're going to do this short and sweet tonight just because where things are at. But Chad, when you popped up in the chat, I wanted to throw you on because I know you're one who the whole Paces of the Riverfront is for the people. This is what we want to do. This is who we are. We love having these situations. We can interact with people. We love meeting Reds fans. And this is why you started Red Leg Nation. This is why we're 15, 16 years into this entity. Kerry's mentioning, I didn't know this, that Ellie is going to be playing Dominican Republic Winter League. He was in the Dom Tigres dugout. But it came out this week. I mean, it's been pretty well known with the Duke Energy Convention Center doing their renovations. We will not have Redsfest this year. And I know that we've in the past have talked about the fact that Redsfest should not be the most exciting day of the year for Reds fans that weekend, but it's still a really great event that the Reds put on for their fans. It's something that I look forward to going to. I've had a lot of great memories going there. I've met people who listen to the shows, who really like our work and all these things. And so when I looked into it, I understand the conversation that the Duke Energy Convention Center is renovating. Nothing you can do about that. But multiple other conventions that stop in Cincinnati made adjustments. Cincinnati Comic Expo went to Sharonville for the Sharonville Convention Center this weekend. The Northern Kentucky Convention Center, I looked this up, is a 5-minute drive from downtown. It's just over the river in Covington.
And it's massive.
It's huge.
Flipping massive. Yes.
And there's conversations that also is going to be next year that there's no Reds Fest. So Chad, why I wanted to bring you in here when I saw you pop in here is because as someone who is for the people, did they drop the ball here?
Yeah, I mean, I think they did. Reds Fest, I've been to many Reds Fests, and I have a good time every single time. Whether the team is garbage, as they have been many years, it doesn't matter. It's just it's a time when all of us who are obsessed with this team and we just can't get away from this team have a chance to sort of get together and enjoy what we do like about this organization. Just sort of I don't know. Sometimes I call it misery loves company, but there are a number of us who just we're done. We're obsessed. We're not
going.
Where are we going to go?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And so Reds Fest has always been a fun time, even in the bad years, to celebrate the team. It's always well done. For many years, it was the best thing the Reds organization did.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to win. So, but they put on this event for the fans, and always well run, always a good time. And there's two ways maybe to look at this. Number one is, after a rough season like this, man, it would seem like you'd want something where the vibes would be good. You could get together and be positive and enjoy just being Reds fans.
Mm-hmm.
The flip side maybe is just an unexpectedly bad season, or a season that was worse than many expected. Maybe you don't. Maybe the Castellanos don't want to face the fans. I don't know if that's the case. I just think they dropped the ball. I just think they could have done something, and they didn't. And it's a shame, because whether we're winning or we're losing, it's a good time to get together, hang out, get a jersey or something from a mystery bag or whatever, and just have a good time. I hate it. Whether they're winning or losing, I think Redsfest is a great event always. And so yet another reason to be disappointed, I guess, with the organization.
Yeah, I've talked to some people. Oh, go ahead, Ben. I don't want to talk over you.
No. I just was going to echo those same sentiments. I think that I think Carrie kind of brought it up in the chat, is that you're kind of starting anew with a new coach, and to start that anew, to have a Reds Fest where, you kind of start your season fresh, and you've got new management, you've got new leadership, you can kind of start it, kind of get your ball rolling there, having that in January by starting with your fans and Red Fest and all this other stuff. And to kind of take that away, like you said, Chad, it's almost seen as another negative. Like, so not only did you not put on a good product, now you're taking stuff away from the fans. So I don't know. I wish they would have found a way to kind of work around it, do something with it, or do something somewhere else. But, I just think that the fans see it as just one more thing that management is failing us at, by not being able to do the one of the few things that all Reds fans come together for and try to celebrate a team that's not winning, is Reds Fest.
And let me just say, that's an excellent point. I mean, yes, disappointing season, but if you want to create excitement for next season and say, all right, well, you know what? Yes, this was disappointing. We still have all these great young players, and now we have Terry Francona. It was a good opportunity to kind of slingshot us into the 2025 season. And I think they missed a real opportunity here to get some fan engagement, some fan excitement.
Yeah, I understand they didn't know that Terry Francona was going to be the manager before they announced the renovations. Obviously that happened, But when you did make the move, when you did agree to terms, when you did sign the deal, you think you couldn't have thrown something up in February before they go to spring training, and people wouldn't have been excited and wanted to run down there? And City brought it up in the chat. I understand the caravan, and I understand there's a lot of people that really care about the caravan. That doesn't go everywhere. That's not easy for a bunch of us to just get to. It's not something where it's, and like, there's the cool thing about it's cool. It's more than just meeting the players, right? I mean, Redsfest a couple years ago, I pumped into John Sadek and I ended up talking to him for 15 minutes because, and that was one of the things where I was like, man, this is like why he's one of my favorite people. It's the random time you're going down the corridor and there's Scott Williamson holding a beer and you're just talking, having a Coors Light with Scott Williamson. That didn't actually happen to me, but it happened to someone I know. So, was that like my Billy Madison moment? The Veronica Vaughn in the bus?
Got it on.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
But you can imagine.
But yeah, so I saw Lil Go 5 who said, lean into the Cincinnati and Kentucky. Northern Kentucky Convention Center would have been absolutely perfect. You're not going far. It's literally just right over the bridge. It's humongous. Parking's not terrible in that area. Smoke Justice, who we did our live show there this summer, is pretty close. Really good food, and you have a lot to do down there. So I really do feel like I'm not coming here to like get on my soapbox, and be like, what the F Reds, but this is something where you really could have capitalized on like keeping things going. Like I said, like Chad said, this was the most popular thing you did for about, I don't know, the 2000s. The first one they had King Griffey Jr. at, and it was like the only public appearance he ever made with the Reds. And it was the way, it was just, like you said, it was the way that you can mingle. It was a way you can make fans, and the vendors were always really cool. So, there's small businesses that were baseball card shops or collectible shops or anything like that. That was a way for them to make money that they don't have a chance to kind of capitalize on the business that year. So it's just community wise, it feels like a disappointment. It feels like it was kind of a thing where they kind of dropped the ball and could have put so much more work in to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you brought up a good point, Tim. Other people that use the convention center found other ways to do their events at other places. So, if you really wanted to do it, you could have made it happen.
Yeah.
Or get creative. Do something. There are lots of venues around the area. Do something at Great American Ballpark.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not. It's not being used right now. There's so many options they had if they just thought outside the box just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of surprises me because for so long I've been sort of criticizing the team for only doing fan service and not actually putting a team on the field. But if you're not going to put a team on the field, you need to at least do the fan service stuff. And they've done a really good job at Great American Ballpark of improving until the last year or two, improving the fan experience there. GABP is fantastic. I don't know. It just seems like that if that were a priority, they could have made something happen, whether it's in Northern Kentucky, whether it's at the Great American Ballpark, whether it's, other venues around the area. Just something to give the fans an opportunity to be thinking about the Cincinnati Reds right now. With a season ahead of us that, frankly, could be a lot of fun with the Terry Francona and Ellie De La Cruz and the kiddos. I don't know. It could be exciting, and you're just not doing anything to amp up interest after a season that everyone was disappointed in.
Yeah. So we do have Brad here that made this comment. I want to make sure to show it and be fair to both sides of the argument. As a fan who's been going to Redsfest for many years, there's not a facility big enough to put Redsfest on the same scale we're used to. You cut things out and you still have fans upset. I understand that, and I'm not saying that that's wrong. But this is the something's better than nothing thing, right? This is the, and I definitely respect that point. I definitely don't think that's incorrect at all. But I still think that people are going to be so excited if it's like, all right, they're doing it at the NKY Convention Center. Yeah, it's not as big as this, but Chris Sabo's still in the corner signing autographs and talking to people. I don't think people's going to be like, they're going to be like, damn. Who was it? I think Covington this year had a TriStar show, like a baseball card show. And like Jamar Chase was there and still did pretty well. So, City brings up Sharonville. That's who hosted the Cincinnati Comic Expo this week. And by all the pictures I saw, I normally go to Cincinnati Comic Expo every year. I didn't go this year. By all the things I saw, no one was upset waiting, in a smaller line to meet their favorite people from The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I had a couple of friends go, and they said that the experience was still really cool. I mean, even though it's a smaller venue, the experience of being able to do that and meet your heroes or people that are on your favorite shows was all the same.
Yeah, it's 25 minutes north of the city, so it's not like you're.
Yeah.
And Brad is not wrong that you may not be able to put it on at the same scale, and I think that's fair. But what you just said, Tim, it's something or nothing, and you can still have something. That the thing about Reds Fest that I think was really sort of visionary, and I think the Reds did better than most other organizations, was it gave an opportunity during the winter to get together with like-minded fans, like-minded members of the community who just love this team for better or for worse, and you give them an opportunity to just get together and hang. And to me, I'm not an autograph guy, so the autographs didn't really appeal to me that much. I mean, I did like going to try to get baseball cards or memorabilia. I'm not a big memorabilia guy either, but what I liked most about it was just getting together and hanging out and talking to some of the people I've gotten to know online and some of the people that I admire that write about the Reds or talk about the Reds. And it was just an opportunity to hang out with a bunch of this crazy community. And yeah, we might not be able to do it on the same scale, but you could do something that gives an opportunity that basically gives us a reason to stick with this team. They should be searching for every opportunity to give us reasons to stick with, and we're all going to stick with this team because we're hopeless at this point. But but if you want to build this community and right, and and build a fan base, you have to do a little bit of fan service, and it just sort of, it reeks a little bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, and that's all. I'm not, like I said, I'm not here to be like, you guys suck, how dare you, do better. But I just feel like this is something they could have really kept together and kept going somehow. One of the things I want to point out, this doesn't necessarily do with the Reds particularly, but I feel like there's another way you could have capitalized on the excitement around the city in the sense of, I know the Bengals aren't having a great year at the moment, but they have won the last 2 games. You have UC basketball and junior basketball are really getting hot right now. Like everyone's getting really excited about their teams. FC Cincinnati's in the playoffs again. Though I think they have a pretty tough battle. The soccer people who hang out here know this way more than I do. I'm not one of them. But feel like the city's kind of in a pretty positive direction right now as far as like excitement around sports teams, which doesn't happen very often. You know, the Bengals beat the Eagles next week. Who knows? Maybe we are just like full on like going crazy again. But at that same point, again, not saying that the Redsfest has anything to do with those teams, but something where we could have just kind of kept the good vibes going. And I think that's all we really want right now is good vibes in Cincinnati sports, because what have we grown up with our whole lives? Not good vibes. So,
yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
Yeah, that was really all I had. But yeah, so City says, yeah, they play, I guess NYC FC is good. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm sorry. I should be better. But
is that not the Red Bulls?
No.
Is that different than the Red Bulls? It's a different club. Okay.
It is.
The Red Bulls are still in it, right?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think so.
The Liberty took the lead. I have a shot still.
There we go.
Come on, Sabrina.
Are the Indiana Fever still playing? I don't know.
No, they got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah.
How's that possible?
That was cool. I really had fun going up there and catching the game, though. Again, another show. So, Chad, before we get out of here, any quick thoughts on the World Series that you want to share? Anything you're potentially excited for, or are you like us and just don't care at this point?
Well, Yankees, Dodgers, everybody's excited about that if that's the way it ends up being. I mean, we all love to see the Yankees versus the Dodgers in the World Series. But I'm excited to see future Red Juan Soto playing this October and see him. Hopefully it doesn't do too well, so maybe his price will go down just a little bit in the offseason, and the Reds will sign him. But no, I mean, I'm going to watch it because I watched the World Series, and but I can't say Yankees Dodgers are the most intriguing matchup. But that's what it ends up being. I mean, so Yankees Mets even actually might be worse in some ways, actually. So I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, but I've been down on this Reds team for a while, and for good reason. But I do think there's real reason to be optimistic about the upcoming season. I mean, as optimistic as we've been in many years, really, in some ways. And Tito Francona is not going to make or break the team, but he's going to help.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Me too. And there's many reasons to believe it's going to be good. And so that is really reassuring. But boss man, I am so grateful you stopped by to hang out with us for a little bit. It was so good to see you, man.
Absolutely.
We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Like we said, there's a lot of sports tonight that we're going head to head with. And so we want to go watch some sports. But as always, be sure to check us all out here on the Riverfront. Everything we're doing, whether it's here on Late Night Reds, whether it is the Riverfront Reds show, where when Chad's available, him and his brother Nate hold it down. I'm actually guest hosting this week. I don't know who my co-host is yet, but I'll find somebody because Bill just seems to be going to Texas, apparently. That seems fair. And I am, and so I'm really excited. I really enjoy that. And check out Red Leg Roundtable, really fun show Seth's putting together right now, where he's interviewing all of us about why we got stuck as Reds fans and why we don't know any better. Red Brick Recap, Jack and Ted are killing it over there right now. They're doing so well, and Miami football is getting hot.
Yeah.
2 in a row. So the Red Hawks putting some things together as well, so check them out. So much stuff going on, and we're going to be there for it all. So shout out to Blue Wire. Thanks to everyone here and that hangs out with us each and every Sunday night, or except for last weekend because it was Ben's birthday. But we will be back next week. Take it easy, everybody.